to the Löw Tide Böyz, a Swimrun Podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and this is episode 81. A little bit more gravitas than usual on that
I
intro.
decided to mix it up. I'm feeling excited for Casco Bay coming up in a few weeks.
That's true. In this episode, we're going to chat about the Trans Tahoe Relay, which I participated in over the weekend, and it was a really, 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 really fun event.
Rub it in.
And so I thought it would be fun to kind of, for our listeners to basically get what Chipper and I have done for years, which is anytime anyone did an event, there's always some race report in terms of like a run or a dinner or meeting up at a bar. There was always some sort of convening to give the other person the race report. So I already gave Chipper a mini version, but then I was like, this actually be, I really, really enjoyed this event. So I think it'd be fun to talk about the Trans Tahoe Relay. So this is going to be essentially like a race recap.
And it has to do with swimming.
Yeah.
Which swimrun has to do with swimming.
Yeah.
And it has to do with training. Yeah. And it was a race. Throw it on the heap. Let's go.
Let's do it. But first,
training update. Well, we split up. The boys split up. If there was a Swimrun Ragmag, it might have been Grace in the front covers.
I got multiple comments.
Not
from
training
people.
together.
I got multiple comments of where's Chipper. So
well, what I was doing was a 3-hour solo swim run in our go-to spot down in Aquatic Park. While Chris was already, you were probably on the boat when I was taking off.
Boat,
and it was kind of one of those things. It was like
it's hard. I
gotta get this done. I might as well just get started.
Like how hard? I mean, I think I've only done one solo swim run, like in training.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it to be really hard to do it solo.
It was, I don't know. I just kind of put my head down and got to business.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. But I had a good time. I broke up. What did I do? What did we do?
Yeah, you already did the royal we.
Yeah.
I was there in spirit.
You were. And it was, there was 2 parts to the main set. Some, effort swimming, 70% swimming, 80% swimming, 90% followed, and then in between those were 5-minute zone 2 runs, and then then you flip that on the head, and you did chill swimming followed by 10 minutes zone 3, then zone 3 plus, then zone 4 running, and then you repeated that through. So it was a good day, a lot of mix up of stuff, and it was fun.
Did you see your guy with?
I haven't seen the mysterious Novato fellow swim, the third Novato resident swim runner. No, but I
wait. You know that guy in Aquatic Park was from Novato?
Well, I saw someone else running.
Oh, here I thought
with the pool buoy.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm assuming maybe there
might be. Who
I don't
knows?
know.
I mean, how many people got these pool buoys?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's about to be a lot more. Anyway, we'll get to Chris's training update a little bit later.
Yeah.
But first, shout-outs.
Yeah, so we got 2 shout-outs this week. First, a tip of the hat to Rob Golden. He reached out to us recently, and he's racing his first swim run in a few weeks at Casco Bay. So we're super stoked for him and hope to see him at our race after party at Lone Pine Brewery.
Can't wait.
And I think it's helpful. So he asked, well, what do you do with your clothes? Like, what happens with your bag?
That's a good question.
So in case people don't know, essentially what happens, you just bring your shit with you, and then you change typically on the ferry, on the way to the start. And then the Odyssey folks essentially take your bag to the finish line. So I think if I could speak for Chipper, we'd recommend multiple layers.
Yes.
Clean, dry shoes, a beanie, bottle of water waiting for you.
Some warmth.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely want to have something to change into to get out of your swimrun gear so you're not just hanging around drinking a beer, passing out. Right, Chipper?
It was 2 beers, but yes.
We're also shouting out yet another new patron on Patreon, John, a.k.a. Hayat, a.k.a. HYZ. He's been a friend since even before the Löw Tide Böyz were a thing, and we really appreciate his support. He, incidentally, is on his own swimrun journey, and he's training up for his first race at Orcas Island in a month or so, 2 months, and in his second event, Attila Catalina. So, fun factoid, he's also responsible for inspiring us to create the Feats of Endurance segment because it was, I think he ran around his block.
A quarantine 50-miler.
Yeah, ran around his block to raise money for the nonprofit Keen USA. Just literally running around a city block in Denver impressive. Covered over 50 miles. Crazy dude.
Way to be, John.
Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
support, buddy.
And he's making a lot of funny videos on Instagram. We post those a lot too. So if you see those, that's the same person. This guy's everywhere. He's everywhere, I tell you. Now, on to Feats of Endurance. So this week, we actually have 2 winners. So the Swimrun team of Mel Bartow and the Swimrun godfather himself, Andy Hewitt. Yeah. They swam around Coronado in San Diego. It only took them a cool 4 hours, 53 minutes, covering somewhere upwards of 21,000 yards.
Yeah.
That's the big leagues, folks. That's some big-time yards. Why? We don't really know. But impressive feat nonetheless.
Definitely.
Kudos to you, Mel and Andy. A formidable team that we will see soon.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a Casco, so that'll be fun.
I think they will. So, if you are wondering how and what the Feats of Endurance are, head on over to our Strava club. So, just go to Strava, search Löw Tide Böyz, and we have a club there with 100 plus, approaching 200 members of swim runners from around the world. Have we surpassed?
We're close to 300. We're like 270 something last time I checked.
How is this happening?
I
don't pay enough attention. Every episode we're talking about it, and people are loving the kudos that rain down upon them.
Yeah.
So join the Löw Tide Böyz Strava Club, join the fun, join the kudos parade. Now for This Week in Swimrun, powered by RaceID.com.
All right, it's been another good week for Swimrun news.
No bummers?
There's one bummer. But I know. But the Ilmency Swimrun took place in Germany over the weekend, and given all the bad news coming out of Germany lately regarding bad weather and flooding, we hope everyone's okay over there. It was great to see this event go off without a hitch, and a special shout out to a member of our Strava club, Christian Gotts, and his partner Martina, who finished first place overall, and they were the first mixed team. So strong work there. The Kalmar Swimrun also took place over the weekend. This 23K race looks super well organized and had a ton of participants. And it's great to see events be coming back in Sweden. The race took place in Kalmar, Sweden. Over in Italy, Aquatic Runner has announced the date of September 12th, which happens to be the best date in the world, for what they are calling the 2021 Individual Swimrun World Championship. So we're not entirely sure why it's a world championship, but it's cool that new formats are popping up in, all over Europe. Anyway, I'm a little I'm not too sure about this. It's just set up a new format, just call it the world championship because it's the only race. I don't know, but hey, it's there's more details to be had there, I'm sure.
We'll find out soon. It's September 13th. We'll know more.
Yeah. As Chipper mentioned, there's a little bit of a bummer. Quest Racing recently announced that they had to cancel their Seattle swim run due to permit problems with the city. So that's a huge bummer. Brecka Swim Run, to finish on a high note, Brecka Swim Run confirmed that their Gower Swim Run has a full go-ahead to take place on July 31st. Registration is closing soon, to make sure to sign up if you want to race in the Gower Peninsula in Wales. Wales seems to be a hotbed for swimrun activity, which I love. Anyway, that's it for this week. Feel free to email us to tip us off of any events or swimrun news that you'd like for us to share on the show. And people are definitely doing that, so
keep
it up.
Much appreciated on that. Now for updates. So are you tether curious? Have you just signed up? Maybe you did a solo swim run and now you're taking the plunge to get a partner, like some folks that were messaging us on Instagram. Well, check out our 2 newest YouTube videos on our YouTube channel, all about the swimrun tether. We have a whole DIY tether video going on, and then we have kind of a more general, what is a tether, why to use it, and a brief DIY in there. Plus, you get to see Chris and I in the flesh, if you're curious. I don't know why you would be, but there's the opportunity there.
Yeah, if for some reason you've been holding out, you should probably keep holding out.
We want to make sure expectations are properly low on this one. So Sarah and Miriam from Team PB and Bananas, who swam at our pool up in Petaluma, recently DIY'd their own tether for their first swimmer practice, and it looks like they survived. So we must be doing something right in the advice department for gear.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
a way to be.
Yeah.
They had a nice picture. They had great form with one partner laying behind the other. They nailed it perfectly.
Yeah.
Way to be.
They looked like they were in a hotel conference
It
center,
did. Maybe
though.
it was I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. I was getting PTSD from conference days. So
oh, yeah, just sitting in the corner eating your lunch. The secret is out. Our long-awaited Löw Tide Böyz Swimrun practice bibs have arrived. So this is the secret we've been alluding to the past few weeks. Secret. We made Löw Tide Böyz bibs, like race bibs. So
for
practicing in, just like you practice how you train how you race, and you race in a bib. So this is kind of the thought behind this. And you could represent the Löw Tide Böyz, or for a safety purpose, they are bright pink.
Yeah.
So high visibility out there for safety and stuff. Look cool. Rep the Löw Tide Böyz.
Yeah.
Head on over to the Löw Tide Böyz store. Snag one of these bibs. They're a limited run. So there's a couple sizes, but we do have 2 of each number. So if you order 2, you're going to get the same. They even have little numbers on them.
Yeah. It's very pro, except not at all, related to anything other than just safety and just looking cool.
Safety, and we're going to be wearing them around. You can't miss us.
I just thought of this. Another thing you could do, let's say you're doing a swimmer practice at a place where there aren't a lot of swim runners and they're stopping you to ask you a bunch of questions. You could just point to the bib and be like, just go to Löw Tide Böyz.
Go to Löw Tide Böyz.
You'll get all the, I'm working out right now. Just check out this website.
I like it. Well,
should we do it?
Let's do it. Let's head into Chris's Trans Tahoe Relay Race Report. The first of its kind.
First of its kind. This is a new format for us because typically we're doing race reports on things we've done together.
True.
But this event was just so cool, Chipper, that, I was pretty much glowing even the morning of. I was so excited about it.
And this is something that since we've been doing triathlons for a while, this has always kind of been on my bucket list.
It's just a cool, there. Yeah.
It's just like a cool thing. Swim across Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, it's a great way. Cool. Well, I should say, if you don't know what we're talking about when we say Lake Tahoe, just pause the show right now and Google it.
Google it.
That's, just if you don't know what we're talking about Lake Tahoe. This is very, very important context for this conversation.
Yeah, it's doesn't connect, but it's in between California and Nevada.
Yep. Beautiful, beautiful high mountain lake, crystal clear water, very blue. So since 1976, the Olympic Club, which is a private golf club / athletic club in the Bay Area, has been putting this event on where essentially they get relay teams of 6 and swim across the lake. The format is pretty straightforward. You go from Sand Harbor on the Nevada side over to Skylandia Beach on the California side near Dollar Point, if you know what I'm talking about. It's about 10 and a half miles distance. And there's a little bit of structure. So the teams, 6-person teams, everyone swims 30 minutes the first leg, and then they alternate 10 minutes. Or you can mix it up. We did that a little bit. Like we did a couple of us did 15-minute legs just to try to, kill some time. But yeah, it's before COVID. The last time they did this was 2019, and the 2019.
Yes.
20. COVID.
What year is it?
Yeah. Anyway, so in 2019 they had 1,200 participants. So you can just imagine how many boats that is, and logistically it's a little challenging because you have to have a boat. The boat has to be inspected. All the team members need to, pony up for the entrance fee, which isn't totally inexpensive, and you need to have a U.S. Master swimming card. Which I didn't have, so that was an extra $50 or whatever it was
for
to
the
get
day
that
pass,
thing.
Or did you
It's like an annual. I think you can.
But now you can go drop in any Masters thing and you're good.
I guess, yeah.
If for some reason you want to swim 5 or 6 days a week.
Yeah, I think we're swimming enough. But yeah, so the way this even transpired, as Chipper mentioned, like this has always kind of been on the bucket list, kind of out there. But there was so much involved. Like, I don't know how to drive a boat. I don't want to drive a boat. I want someone else to do that. Teams were like renting boats and renting drivers of boats. But there was a Golden Gate Triathlon Club team that's been doing it for a bunch of years, and a member of that team got hurt riding his mountain bike. So the team consisted of Ian, Kevin, whose boat it was,
Captain
the boat.
Ian, okay.
You had Peter, who flew in from Austin for this.
Wow.
You had Christine, who's a longtime friend of ours, and also the fun factoid: the only triathlete I've ever coached her for 70.3. my buddy our buddy
Alex,
and then me.
Good friend of the
So
show.
it was a pretty fun group. All people that I knew. Somewhat. I mean, I know Alex and Christine probably the best, but it was great to hang out with everyone else. And it was a tiny boat called the Belafonte. But yeah, it was super, super fun.
So when you walk through the day, some of these events, do they want to get out early? Was it a 5:30 in the water kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or was it a little bit more casual?
That's a good question. Yeah, logistically, it was pretty challenging because we were all staying on the California side. So you had to get into the boat, get over to the Nevada side, drop off the first swimmer, and then kind of get out of the way because they essentially had like 4 legs starting at 7:30, and then the legs were 10 minutes apart. So the challenge of the start of the race is that you start on the shore, and there's all sorts of people show up to do this, like former Olympians, Olympic trials people, like people that look like Michael Phelps, cousin out there. So
it's like an upside down triangle walking.
So there's
around.
some pretty heavy hitters that show up for this thing. So you line up on the beach and you essentially swim around a cove and then basically head out, due west. And there's just a ton of boats out there. So it's the responsibility of your crew to basically try to find you while you're swimming.
And everyone has the same red cap on.
Yeah, so each leg has a different colored cap.
Oh, cool.
But it's still like, 50 to 100 people wearing the same color cap. So luckily, there's obviously a ton of safety people and people on cool jet skis and like the surfer jet skis that will pull you out of like heavy surf, like those types of things. So there's people shouting out your team number. So it's like, oh, got 119 back here.
Okay. And do you ride it on your back or anything? Or
so you would ride it on your
it's a
swim cap.
non-wetsuit.
Non-wetsuit. Yeah.
How was the water temp? Were you concerned about that at all? Or
I was definitely concerned, but it was also like, well, what am I going to do? It's nothing I can do about it. I just kind of have to suck it up. So I just kind of embraced whatever was going to happen, but it was actually very pleasant. Yeah, it was kind of the thing where you jump in, it's a little cold, but as soon as you start moving, it was fine.
Yeah.
So the first leg, Ian from the team started it, and he sort of came around the corner, and we're actually able to find him pretty easily.
Nice.
So that worked out pretty well. And then, just from there, we started switching. So I did the second leg and try to put in a big effort. And that was interesting too, because I mean, Chipper, you and I, we've been doing like so much swimming that it was kind of interesting. Interesting to be like, all right, well, here's like a 30-minute essentially time trial. Like, how much distance can I cover while trying to swim straight and all that? And
good amount of chop out there on the lake too.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
It's not
choppy.
like a glass situation. This lake is huge, and so I can see the problem of it's not like after you swim your leg, you're not swimming for another 2.5, 3 hours. You're on the boat. You can't go get dropped off somewhere because it's such a vast lake.
Yeah, totally. And it's like it feels like you're crossing like a big body of water. Like when people were swimming, it really didn't look like they were moving. Like it looked like they were just swimming in place because like the landmarks are so far out.
Fast.
But I mean, the water's amazing. Again, if you've never been to Lake Tahoe, even when it was super deep, which was kind of crazy because it's one of the deepest lakes in America. You would see these sort of rays of light, of sunlight, just kind of going down into the water. It was amazing.
Lake Tahoe has a depth of 1,644 feet.
It's pretty deep.
It's pretty deep. It's not quite as deep as Crater Lake in Oregon, though.
Right.
That's 1,949 feet.
I think the deepest one is in like Russia or something. Deepest lake ever in the world.
And then the top Google suggested question is, has anyone been to the bottom of Lake Tahoe?
What's the Google suggested answer?
What's the suggested answer on that one?
Probably.
It has never been found.
Okay.
Oh, for decades, people thought the lake was thousands of miles deep, so the bottom didn't even really exist. Okay. For
which decades are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. This I might flag this one to Google. They might need to look into this. Look into that one.
So it was a interesting experience just from like, I feel like Chipper, you and I have done, I mean, just pretty much every endurance challenge that we can think of. I mean, that's how we found Swimrun essentially, was like, oh, what's going to give us the next juice? This was just so much fun. It was such a cool way to express your fitness in a beautiful day on a beautiful lake with a bunch of cool people on a boat. And it was just really fun.
In between the legs, I know from what I've heard, there's like, sometimes it's a party. When you get out, you're just crack a beer, you have a hot dog on there, and just playing loud music the whole time. I'm sure other teams are really diving off and being really serious and tactical about it. But what was the kind of the vibe out there? Did you have a group of boats that you were kind of with the whole day, or? Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, you kind of find your pack of people. Okay. Yeah, we definitely saw some shenanigans. There was one team who every time they blew like an air horn, the swimmer had to just start doing butterfly stroke, just like.
That's
some
swimmer pranks or something.
Yeah, some sort of weird swimming hazing or something going on. Other teams, we're definitely taking it super chill and loud music, drinking beers. We had beers as well, but I wasn't drinking them because I was like, it's like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
You know?
And out there, I mean, if you're not on a boat a lot, the rocking, the motion
the wind,
of the ocean.
I mean, there's motion of the ocean. The wind, the sun. I mean, it was a really sunny day. I don't think I've applied that much sunscreen in a 5-hour period, I think, in a really long time. But I did miss a spot on my knee somehow.
On your knee?
I got like a weird sunburn
knee
on my
sunburn.
Knee. Yeah, it kind of looks like the Madagascar, like the outline of Madagascar.
Good to know.
Anyway.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Sure. So there was definitely teams doing a lot of stuff. Our team, our boat was called the Belafonte, so our whole theme was Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, which is a movie by Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. I was going to say, is that a Wes Anderson?
So we were all wearing red caps and had these.
The Watchman, the red watch cap.
Yeah.
Very iconic.
So people were having a lot of fun with that at the beginning because the Belafonte is a very old boat. That, according to Kevin, has just been nickel and diming him.
I feel that all boats are like that.
Yeah, but I was like, after even just seeing that boat, I'm like, your family needs to keep this boat in tip-top shape, okay, buddy?
Yeah.
This thing's awesome.
That's cool.
So people are having a lot of fun. I think we had one of the smaller boats out there.
Yeah.
There were some amazing looking boats that I don't know too much about boats, but these boats look.
I know the bigger
big.
they are, the more costly they usually are.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb for boats.
In that sense, there were some expensive boats for sure.
Nice. And you feel happy with the efforts that you put out? Do your pace had any surprises come through on the swims?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was happy with my pace. The water was pretty choppy, so I wasn't trying to set the world on fire or anything, but I was trying to, come up to effort and then hold effort, which for some reason I just forgot to take an account of like altitude. So that first swim, I'm like, let me just work into it the first 5 minutes and then put in a solid 25-minute effort. After like a minute, I was like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm ready all worked up.
My heart rate's up. So this Lake Tahoe is around 6,000 feet elevation, so it is getting to be a little bit thinner. Up there,
for sure.
Especially for us mainlanders or flatlanders here in Marin, where we're
coastal folks.
Yeah, not much in the elevation department here.
Yeah, but I would say I was definitely happy with the performance, and again, it was just such a joyful thing.
Time just hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, like I remember immediately after texting my wife and being like, I want to do this every year that I have arms.
Yeah.
As long as my arms are working, like I want to try to do it because it was just so much fun. I mean, it was such a great day. It's like it's something that I could see myself sort of,
spearheading.
Working a calendar around. I mean, maybe not spearheading because the whole boat thing.
It does seem
like
how. Yeah, I guess so you all had to get in the boat on the California side and drive across the lake.
And then drop someone off and then go into this sort of holding pattern where there's a bunch of other
How long
boats.
did it take to get all the way across the lake? Probably 30 minutes at least?
Something like that. Yeah, like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, it took us...
a certain amount of knots?
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know, whatever
there you go.
Number, 3?
It took us to swim back. It took us like 5.5 hours, which I guess it's, it's not...
time,
we definitely weren't winning or anything, but, it worked out great because we just kept it on the schedule, and this next person jumped in and got snacks on the boat. I had Doritos, like the original, like nacho cheese
just the
Doritos.
red bag.
I haven't had those like 5 years, I think.
Really?
Something like that. They're delicious.
I'm not a Cool Ranch fan, but I know it's either the red bag or the
blue bag.
Or the blue bag.
Yeah, well, I hadn't had Doritos in a really long time, and I forgot how good they were.
Now, you and I, we did one of those Ragnar relays where it's 2 cars. Was it a similar feeling with you got to be ready, and were people like getting ready to dive off the boat the second they came in, or is it kind of Chris is napping, let's wake him up, he's got to swim right now?
It was kind of like that. I mean, it was definitely like we were giving the swimmers like 5-minute warnings,
okay,
and then like a 1-minute warning. So typically, because everyone had to pee for some reason, like
because the water's
everyone just had to pee.
Yeah,
like I don't know how many times I peed, but I think it was like a dozen. So when it was like 2 minutes left, Kevin, who's just, I mean, he's done this a bunch of years, so he could almost eyeball the distance. He would basically pull ahead for like 200 yards,
okay,
you jump in, pee, kind of get warmed up or whatever,
okay,
and then the person would come in, and usually around the time, then you would go.
Oh, that's a smart way to do it. So
there wasn't any
get up the boat and then hop
I mean,
off,
and that's just the way we did it. I mean,
okay,
I don't really think anyone cares once you're out there if you want to lollygag and just do cannonballs and stuff.
Yeah, there's no marshals floating around.
I mean, you're supposed to finish within like 7 hours or something,
right,
I think is the thing. But yeah, they limited the amount of teams, so I mean, it seemed like there was a ton of freaking boats. It looked like an armada of freaking ski boats going across the lake. I can't imagine. I think the field was like a third of what it was 2 years ago.
So when it's at max capacity, it must be cracking.
Ton of boats.
And was there I imagine there's a post party afterwards, or on the beach, on the finishing beach, there was a lot of boats that were kind of like, just at first I'm like, did all these boats like wash up ashore or something? Because they were just all beached. But yeah, people were just hanging out, drinking, having a good time. Nice.
Just music playing. It was cool.
Oh, man. Lake Tahoe is highly recommend if you come to California, you're looking for a cool place to stay. Like,
yeah,
Lake Tahoe is one of those places that you're like, I think I could probably. I wish I had a summer house here because it's like a endurance outdoor person's dream.
It's very nice
place. It's spectacular.
It's very nice. Yeah, I mean, we've done Ironmans up there. We've done all kinds of stuff. Tahoe Rim Trail. But yeah, it was like I said. I mean, I'm still kind of giddy about it. Like. It was a great time. Obviously, I missed you, Chipper. You weren't there. I was. If someone would have bailed. You're obviously the person I was
ready to go. I had my Speedo right next to my bed. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's great hanging with Alex. Of course, he's a good friend and open water enthusiast. Mm-hmm. I would say regular, probably getting close to that lifetime Dolphin Club membership.
I think so.
He's been somehow. I feel like he might have signed up when he was like 12.
I don't know, but he definitely knows everyone in the Dolphin Club.
He knows everybody in the.
I mean, he has a locker, so for the Dolphin Club insiders, you have to wait.
Some serious business.
It takes like 10 years just to be able to get a locker.
Which he has
Someone
hosted
has to
many a thing for us in there. Awesome. So that's the Trans Tahoe Relay.
Yeah.
And you, I think people probably made a whole weekend of it, but you did the usual where you drive. We got the family and kids, so you had to endure some traffic hours.
That was the hardest part. I mean, drove up on Friday night, got there, stayed up late chatting with everyone, woke up early, did the relay, which was probably like an hour of exercise. So
but the day was long.
Yeah, it's just a long day in the sun. Again, I had all these Doritos, a bunch of food. And then, pretty much immediately after, I jumped in the car and drove back because I wanted to try to surprise my kids to be home in time for bedtime.
Nice.
Just mission accomplished, but I was wiped out.
Yeah.
from the drive.
Bedtime for everyone.
Yeah, I went to sleep super early. And then the next day we did the huge
huge swim, and Chris was right there. I
wasn't talking too much, though.
You did give me a warning that the pace might be off.
Yeah, I was kind of miserable the entire time, actually.
And it was like, of course, the biggest swim of the week, I think that we had. But
but it was great. I mean, I think you can get information at, I think it's transtahoerelay.com, Now, the website, if you're work in marketing or consulting like Chipper and I do, just kind of makes you cringe and makes you want to kind of volunteer to fix it for him. But that's not our role. But yeah, the website leaves much to be desired, but it definitely gives you a sense of what's going on and how to register for it. And
Trans Tahoe Relay.com.
Yeah.
It is the race there. Here, I have the results. You curious to hear?
Sure.
The first team, boat number 123, came in at 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Damn. I'm pretty sure they weren't drinking beers.
I don't think they were drinking beers. Let's go to...
We were team 110, so maybe you'll calibrate average.
Okay, let me sort by boat number then. 110, Life Aquatic, 534.
Oh, okay.
Scored 41st division place.
2 hours off the pace.
Just 2 hours off the pace, yeah. That's
sounds about right.
So yeah, 3:31 is the winning time, and then let me click all the way over. The Not Fast but Furious, who came in 136th place with the 6 hours and 22 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. There's not a huge. I mean, it's not too bad in terms of discrepancy from.
Yeah, I guess it's important to note too. There was a bunch of people from our Strava club that were also out there from the Löw Tide Böyz Strava club that were swimming. So
I see a team named Gin and Tonic with a splash.
Yep. So Rob was out there.
Rob, awesome.
Lara, who's in our Strava club, was out there. We saw a bunch of people. So there's these folks that we've been seeing at Aquatic Park pretty much every Saturday. Natalie Zimmer and her crew, Karen Fitzgerald. Julia Prescott, and I guess we never really asked them what they were training for. I just assumed it was a triathlon or something.
Yeah,
they were training for that. So I saw them all on a boat, and it was like this all women's team. I was like, "What are you guys doing here?" It's like, "Is this what you've been doing at Aquatic Park?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, well, that wasn't obvious to me. I'm sorry."
Well, yeah, they need a little bit more. Sultans of Swim. That's a good name.
Pretty good name.
These are if anyone needs a new Swimrun team name, head on over to Trans Tahoe Relay. Just borrow or get inspired by some of these. Water Rats. I think Wharf Rat would have been a good name, and a little tip of the hat to the dead. Anyway, Chris, any further amendments to your race report?
I don't think so. I think to close it out,
we got to try to. I need to. I have to do it.
I think
my hand's been forced.
I mean. While it was happening, I was FaceTiming you or Marco Poloing you, just kind of giving you updates because and I'm pretty sure I had like a shit-eating grin on my face because it was so much fun. Like you dig it, it the most.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's got to happen. I think it's a good. Any excuse to get up to Tahoe for the weekend is going to be taken away.
Yeah.
Taken.
I think next year I'm not going to try to only be up there for like 14 hours though. I'm going to try to
let's
enjoy it
throw
a
a couple
longer.
sleepovers in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's that.
Yeah, pretty random episode. Anyway, I was super stoked on it, so I wanted to share it with everyone.
If you know any other open water cool swims in California and surrounding areas that's not around San Diego, I don't feel like doing 21,000 meters, but anywho, that's that.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace. Thank you for listening to the Löw Tide Böyz, a Swimrun podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review on iTunes if you're so inclined.
You can also sign up for a newsletter at lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at The Löw Tide Böyz on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, drop us an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Writing Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of our swimrun activities, hobbies, and other bullshit we do.
Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
And then a run.
And then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then run to the finish line. And just keep going until you're done.
Yes. Or
until
run
you
to
cross the finish line.
Or run to the car.
Or run to your car.
Somewhere. Just keep running.
Peace.